What if the substance you think of as mere relaxation, celebration, or even escape holds a secret so profound that it could change how you perceive reality forever? Alcohol, present in nearly every culture and woven into countless traditions, carries an ancient, hidden legacy. It is not just a drink, not just a social lubricant. It is an artifact of alchemy, a substance deeply tied to the mysteries of transformation, perception, and the human soul's search for transcendence. The story of alcohol is far more mysterious than it seems, from its roots in the mystical arts of the ancients to its place in modern society. It embodies a paradox. It appears to offer temporary relief, but in reality, often obscures deeper truths. The bottle sitting on your shelf or the glass in your hand has a history stretching back to the alchemists who sought the purification of both matter and spirit. They believed in distillation not just as a physical process, but as a spiritual metaphor, the extraction of essence, the separation of the pure from the impure. This transformation mirrored the journey of the soul, an arduous process of refinement meant to elevate the individual toward a higher state of consciousness. But somewhere along the way, the deeper significance of alcohol was lost. Instead of being seen as a symbol of ascension, it became a tool of indulgence, numbing the very awareness it was once meant to heighten. The word alcohol itself holds hidden meaning. It originates from the Arabic word al-kuhul, which initially referred to a fine powdered antimony used as kohl, applied to the eyes to enhance vision. But this was not just about physical sight. In ancient traditions, this purifying substance was believed to open one's perception beyond the material world, revealing deeper realities unseen by the ordinary eye. Over centuries, the meaning of al-kuhul expanded, coming to represent the essence extracted through alchemical distillation, a process meant to refine a substance into its most potent form. This idea of refinement was not just about creating strong liquors, but about transforming something crude into something pure, something that could bridge the material and the spiritual. But here's where the paradox begins. While alcohol is the product of an advanced refining process, its consumption often leads to disconnection rather than enlightenment. The same way alchemists sought to distill the purest essence from matter, spiritual seekers aim to refine the soul through meditation, self-discipline, and prayer. Alcohol, however, offers a shortcut, a deceptive one. It mimics transcendence by altering consciousness, but this altered state is fleeting, artificial. It is not the true elevation of the soul, but a temporary escape, a brief illusion of liberation that fades, leaving behind an even deeper craving. In many mystical traditions, the soul is compared to a flame, a light constantly seeking to reunite with its divine source. Spiritual practices, from meditation to fasting, are designed to raise the vibrational frequency of the body and mind, making it easier to connect with higher realms of consciousness. Alcohol, however, lowers this frequency. Instead of lifting the soul toward enlightenment, it weighs it down, making it harder to access spiritual insight. The illusion of freedom it provides is just that, an illusion. True transcendence comes through inner stillness, clarity, and divine connection, none of which alcohol facilitates. One of the most fascinating and least discussed aspects of alcohol's impact is its effect on the pineal gland, often referred to as the third eye in mystical traditions. This small gland, nestled in the brain, is believed to play a crucial role in spiritual insight, intuition, and perception. Many ancient cultures considered it the gateway to higher awareness, the bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. Alcohol inhibits this gland's function, dulling intuition and severing the connection to inner wisdom. This is not mere speculation. Science confirms that alcohol consumption disrupts neural pathways, impairs cognitive function, and diminishes one's ability to perceive subtle energies. The very faculties that spiritual seekers strive to cultivate, awareness, clarity, and heightened perception, are numbed by alcohol, creating a barrier to deeper understanding. The cycle of alcohol consumption mirrors an even older concept, the cycle of samsara in Eastern spiritual traditions. Samsara represents the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, driven by attachment, suffering, and the illusion of fulfillment. Alcohol embodies this cycle in a striking way. It offers temporary pleasure, a brief euphoria followed by a crash, leading to a craving for repetition. This cycle of indulgence and dissatisfaction mirrors the broader karmic loop where fleeting pleasures are pursued, despite their inability to provide lasting fulfillment. Like a soul trapped in the endless wheel of reincarnation, those who rely on alcohol for escape find themselves caught in an unending loop of highs and lows, mistaking fleeting relief for true peace. But at its core, the human desire for intoxication is not about alcohol itself. It is about something much deeper. It is an unconscious longing for transcendence, for connection, for the bliss of divine unity. The altered state that alcohol induces is merely a distorted version of the true spiritual experiences that can be accessed through meditation, devotion, and inner stillness. The problem is that because alcohol is a material substance, it can never provide real fulfillment. It can only ever act as a counterfeit, an imitation of something far more profound. And like all counterfeits, it deceives, leading those who seek its comfort further away from the true source of peace and enlightenment. This is why so many spiritual traditions, from Buddhism to Christianity, emphasize sobriety, not as a rule of deprivation, but as a path to clarity. The most enlightened minds throughout history have spoken of the importance of a clear, unclouded consciousness. Jesus is retreated to the wilderness in fasting and prayer. The Buddha attained enlightenment through deep meditation, and countless mystics throughout history have testified that true awakening comes not from external substances, but from inner transformation. The very thing that alcohol promises, escape, transcendence, freedom, is already available to those who seek it within. The tragedy is that most people do not realize this. They reach for a drink when what they truly seek is connection, peace, and a return to their divine essence. This does not mean alcohol is inherently evil or that it lacks any place in society, but it does mean that its effects, both physical and spiritual, should not be taken lightly. To understand alcohol's true nature is to recognize its duality, a substance born from alchemical refinement that, when misused, leads to disconnection rather than enlightenment. It is a reminder that shortcuts to transcendence are often illusions, and that true spiritual elevation requires conscious effort, discipline, and an openness to divine guidance. The path to true awakening does not lie in the bottle. It lies in the recognition of one's own divine nature, the willingness to seek beyond illusions, and the courage to embrace a journey of true transformation. The desire for intoxication is, At its core, a desire for something higher, something real. But to truly satisfy this longing, one must turn inward, toward the practices that cultivate genuine connection, lasting peace, and a soul unburdened by the illusions of the material world. What if the very thing you've been seeking in alcohol has been within you all along? Pause for a moment. Before we go any deeper, take a second to subscribe, turn on notifications, like this post, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. This could be the insight they've been waiting for, the truth that unlocks a new level of awareness. Are you ready? Let's begin. The great Sufi poet and mystic, Rumi, spoke often of intoxication, but not in the way most people think. His references were not to physical drunkenness, but to something far greater, the divine ecstasy of spiritual union. For Rumi, wine was more than a drink. It was a symbol of divine love, an elixir that lifted the soul beyond the limits of the material world and into a space of boundless joy, wisdom, and connection. Be drunk with love, for love is all that exists, he once wrote, urging seekers to let go of their small, earthly selves and merge with something infinitely greater. This, he believed, was the highest form of intoxication, one that did not dull the senses, but rather awakened them to a greater reality. But not all intoxication is the same. Rumi made a sharp distinction between the wine of the soul and the wine of the world. While physical intoxication might offer an escape, it is fleeting, deceptive, and ultimately numbing. It clouds the clarity of the seeker, obscuring the higher truth that can only be seen with an awakened heart and mind. The true intoxication, the one worth seeking, is found not in a bottle, but in surrendering to the beloved, to God. That surrender, that divine union, allows the soul to break free from the illusions of the world and embrace the infinite. This idea is echoed by another modern spiritual teacher, Osho, who saw alcohol not as a path to liberation, but as a barrier to it. He often spoke of the importance of awareness and living in the present moment, something that substances like alcohol strip away. For Osho, intoxication was not about numbing pain, but about facing it, learning from it, and transcending it through deeper self-awareness. Awareness is the key to transformation. Alcohol destroys awareness, making it impossible to see the truth of who you are, he said. To him, alcohol was a kind of anesthetic, a tool that people use to escape their suffering rather than confront it. But suffering, when faced with courage and mindfulness, has the power to be a doorway to awakening. Numbing that pain doesn't remove it, it only buries it deeper. True liberation, Osho taught, comes from turning inward, embracing the discomfort of growth, and expanding awareness through meditation and self-discovery. In a similar vein, Paramahansa Yogananda, the great yogic master and author of Autobiography of the Yogi, emphasized self-discipline and mental clarity as essential for spiritual growth. He warned that alcohol weakens the willpower necessary for true inner work, making it harder to meditate, to focus, and to align with the divine. He often compared the mind to a pond stirred by the wind, naturally restless, filled with endless ripples of thoughts and distractions. Alcohol, he said, only aggravates this restlessness, making it nearly impossible to reach the stillness required for divine communion. Intoxicants destroy the harmony of body and mind, They veil the inner light that guides the soul toward liberation. Yogananda wrote, "To walk the spiritual path, one must cultivate inner strength, discipline, and a deep connection to divine energy. Anything that clouds the mind, be it alcohol, distractions, or attachments, only slows the journey." Ancient spiritual traditions across the world have long warned against the consumption of alcohol, viewing it as a hindrance rather than a help on the path to enlightenment. In Buddhism, abstaining from intoxicants is one of the 5 precepts, a fundamental guideline for ethical and mindful living. It is not just about self-discipline. It is about maintaining clarity, balance, and spiritual integrity. Similarly, in Hinduism, sacred texts like the Manusmriti caution against alcohol, associating it with loss of self-control and moral degradation. In Sufism, wine is frequently used as a metaphor for divine love and spiritual ecstasy, but physical wine is strongly discouraged. The message is clear. Don't confuse the symbol for the reality. True intoxication, the kind worth seeking, is not found in substances, but in deep spiritual connection. The Christian tradition also wrestles with the paradox of alcohol. In Gnostic Christianity, the wine of the world represents attachment to material pleasures and distractions, a force that pulls the soul away from its divine purpose. True wine, in contrast, is gnosis, the deep spiritual knowledge that sets the soul free. Even in the Bible, wine holds a double meaning. On one hand, it is a sacred symbol, central to the Eucharist, where it represents the blood of Christ and the promise of eternal life. On the other hand, excessive drinking is condemned. Proverbs 20:1 states, "Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. Whoever is deceived thereby is not wise." This dual meaning highlights a profound truth. Alcohol has the power to either connect or disconnect the soul from its higher purpose, depending on how it is used. In mystical and alchemical traditions, wine represents something far greater than a physical substance. It is a symbol of the spiritual elixir, a divine force that elevates the soul, filling it with joy, wisdom, and boundless love. The danger lies in mistaking physical wine for its spiritual counterpart, seeking divine intoxication through material means. The true intoxication does not dull the senses but awakens them, expanding awareness and deepening the connection to the divine presence. As Rumi wrote, "There is a wine that no vineyard knows of. It flows within the soul, filling every cup of longing with light." So, how do we achieve this true spiritual intoxication? Throughout history, mystics and spiritual teachers have provided the real roadmap, a path that requires no substances, only devotion, practice, and surrender. Meditation is one of the most powerful ways to quiet the mind and access the divine presence within. Devotional practices, such as chanting, singing, and prayer, cultivate a deep sense of unity with the divine. Acts of love and selfless service dissolve the ego and open the heart to divine grace. These practices do not create temporary highs, but rather permanent transformation. The Persian poet Hafiz beautifully captures the essence of spiritual surrender with these words, "I am a hole in a flute that the Christ's breath moves through." Listen to this music. To be truly intoxicated with divine love is to surrender fully, to become an instrument through which the divine presence flows freely. It is not about escape, but about awakening. It is not about numbing pain, but about transcending it through love and connection. This is your invitation to lift the veil, to break free from illusions, to reclaim your divine connection. If you have stayed with me this far, you are ready for the next step in your spiritual journey. Subscribe now and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Together, let's uncover the secrets they never wanted us to know.